Hello, students. Mahatma Gandhi has rightly said, keep your values positive because your values become your destiny. With this beautiful quote, I wish you all a beautiful morning. It is said, dear students, that if we have positive thinking, our day goes very good because negativities bring negative mind and negative day. A day full of negativity will be there, then we are not able to think anything good the whole day, and our whole day spoils, and we are not going to have something great in our life throughout if we have negative thinking. So we should keep our attitude positive, and then only we'll be thinking positively and we'll be achieving our goals. So today we are going to read the chapter, that is chapter 9, a bicycle in good repair. Although we are not having a normal day, so I would read for you the whole chapter, and I hope that you will be knowing how to read a chapter, a story, in a better way. So kindly follow. You may see the video again and again in order to know the correct pronunciation of the words. Whenever you read a chapter, dear students, you should make sure that whenever you are reading, you should read loudly and clearly so that people around you may listen to you, and your seniors could correct you, and if you are reading very nicely, they can appreciate you. So reading skill should be developed by all the students because we write later on, before that we read or speak, so that creates a different impression on people who are listening to us. So let us begin the chapter. First, dear students, I'll read the chapter for you and then I'll explain it. I think that will be better because when we read a paragraph wise and then we explain, so it doesn't make much difference. So let me finish reading and then I'll explain. This chapter is a funny chapter, and here, although bicycles don't have life, but bicycle is also taken as uh, a, a thing full of life, and it is also given the position of a human being. And let us read how funny the chapter is. The author of this chapter is, you may see at the end, the name of the author is Jerome K. Jerome. So let us begin the chapter. A man I knew proposed one evening we should go for a long bicycle ride together on the following day, and I agreed. I got up early. For me, I made an effort and was pleased with myself. He came half an hour late. I was waiting for him in the garden. It was a lovely day. He said, "That's a good looking machine of yours. How does it run?" Students, whenever you will read, if there are dialogues, please read it as a dialogue. Then only the listener will get interest to listen to it. Oh, like most of them, I answered. Easily enough in the morning, goes a little stiffy after lunch. He caught hold of it by the front wheel and the fork and shook it violently. I said, "Don't do that. You'll hurt it." I did not see why he should shake it. It had not done anything to him. Besides, if it wanted shaking, I was the proper person to shake it. I felt much as I should had. He started hacking my dog. He said, "This front wheel wobbles." I said, "It doesn't if you don't wobble it." It didn't wobble. As a matter of fact, nothing worth calling a wobble. He said, "This is dangerous. Have you got a hammer?" I ought to have been firm, but I thought that perhaps he really did know something about the business. I went to the tool shed to see what I could find. When I came back, he was sitting on the ground with the front wheel between his legs. He was playing with it, twiddling it round between his fingers. The remnant of the machine was lying on the gravel path beside him. He said, "It looks to me as if the bearings were all wrong." I said, "Don't you trouble, don't you trouble about it anymore. You will make yourself tired. Let us put it back and get off." Turn the page. He said, "We may as well see what is the matter with it. Now it is out." He talked as though it had dropped out by accident. Before I could stop him, he had unscrewed something somewhere, and out rolled all over the path some dozen or so little balls. "Catch them! Catch 'em!" he shouted. "Catch 'em! We mustn't lose any of them." He was quite excited about them. We grovelled round for half an hour and found 16. He said he hoped we had got them all, because if not, it would make a serious difference to the machine. I put them, for safety, in my hat. It was not a sensible thing to do, I admit. Now, the second part is, he then said that while he was about it, he would see to the chain for me, and at once began taking off the gear case. I did try to dissuade him from that. I told him what an experienced friend of mine once said to me solemnly: "If anything goes wrong with your gear case, sell the machine and buy a new one. It comes cheaper." We generally see, when our things are getting spoiled again and again, any machine, then for repairing we are paying a lot of money. So people suggest that it's better to purchase a new one and not to spend more money on the old one. He said, "People talk like that who understand nothing about machines. Nothing is easier than taking off a gear case." I had to confess he was right. In less than 5 minutes, he had the gear case in two pieces, lying on the path, and was groveling for screws. He said it was always a mystery to him the way screws disappeared. Common sense continued to whisper to me, "Stop him, because he does any more mischief. You have a right to protect your own property from the ravages of a lunatic. Take him by the scruff of the neck and kick him out of the gate. But I am weak when it comes to hurting other people's feelings, and I let him muddle on." He gave up looking for the rest of the screws. He said screws had a knack of turning up when you least expected them, and that now he would see to the chain. He tightened it till it would not move. Next, he loosened it until it was twice as loose as it was before. Then he said we had better think about getting the front wheel back into its place again. I held the fork open and he worried with the wheel. At the end of 10 minutes, I suggested he should hold the fork and that I should handle the wheel, and we changed places. At length, we did get the thing into position, and the moment it was in position, he burst out laughing. I said, "What's the joke?" He said, "Well, I'm an ash." He was the first, it was the first thing he had said that made me respect him. I asked him what had led him to the discovery. He said, "We have forgotten the balls." I looked for my hat. It was lying topsy turvy in the middle of the path. That means he has used some different words here to make the reading interesting. So all the balls were lying in the middle of the hat. He was of a cheerful disposition. He said, "Well, we must put back all we can find and trust to province. We found 11. We fixed 6 on one side and 5 on the other, and half an hour later, the wheel was in its place again. It need hardly be added that it really did wobble now. A child might have noticed it. He said it would do for the present. I said, watching you do this of real use to me. It is not only your skill that fascinates me, it is your cheery confidence in yourself, your inexplicable hopefulness that does me good. Thus encouraged, he set to work to refix the gear case. He stood the bicycle against the house and worked from the off side. Then he stood it against a tree and worked from the on side. Then I held it for him while he lay on the ground with his head between the wheels and worked at it from below and dropped oil upon himself. Then he took it away from me and doubled himself across it till he lost his balance and slid over on to his head. Then he lost his temper and tried bullying the thing. The bicycle, I was glad to see, showed spirit, and the subsequent proceedings degenerated into little else than a rough and tumble fight between him and the machine. One moment, the bicycle would be on the gravel path and he on the top of it. The next, the position would be reversed. He on the gravel path and bicycle on him. Now he would be standing flushed with victory, the bicycle firmly fixed between his legs, but his triumph would be short lived. By a sudden, quick movement, it would free itself and turning upon him, hit him sharply over the head with one of his handles. At a quarter to one, dirty and disheveled, cut and bleeding, he said, I think that will do, and rose and wiped his brow. The bicycle looked as if it also had had enough of it, which had received most punishment, it would have been difficult to say. I took him into the back kitchen, where so far as was possible he cleaned himself. Then I sent him home. So, dear students, this is the end of the reading of the chapter. I hope that you will read the chapter at home aloud so that your reading skill will be developed, and you must be forgetting reading as we are not having the regular classes now. So, reading nicely or reading impressively is very good. People get impressed by that, and you will also grow your self confidence. So it's a very funny story. Whenever you have something, whether it has life or not, suppose which is your own, whether it is your bicycle or anything, any toy of yours, any such thing which you are very fond of, and when people come and disturb or hurt it, you feel bad, because sometimes we are very much attracted towards our things, or we have our sentiments towards that particular thing which are our own, and whenever anyone touches it we get angry because we used to keep it as our own favorites. So here also the author is angry with a person who had disturbed his bicycle, and the story is totally depending on that. So now I would like to tell the summary, or I would like to explain the chapter in a easier way. The narrator, as I told the narrator's name, is the author also. The narrator one evening accepted his friend's proposal to go for a long bicycle ride on that particular following day. He got up early and started waiting for his friend. His friend came half an hour late. He examined the narrator's bicycle. He shook the front wheel with force. He didn't heed the narrator's request not to hurt the bicycle because he was a bit arrogant also. So he did not listen to his request because the narrator did not want that he should hurt the machine. His friend declared that the front wheel was unsteady and it could prove dangerous. He asked for a hammer. He took the front wheel of the fork and held it between his legs. He found fault with the bearings. He set about repairing the machine. He unscrewed it and the little iron balls rolled away. They collected some 16 of them and they collected some 16 of them. The narrator put them for safety in his hat. Now we'll see part 2. Next, the friend handled the chain. He took off the gear case. He claimed to know all about a bicycle. I hope you are able to see, or if you want to know it in a better way, you just keep your book open when you will go through this video. It will be easier for you. Okay. Next, the friend handled the chain. He took off the gear case. He claimed to know all about a bicycle. He removed the gearbox but lost the screws. The narrator was too weak to check the friend from doing further mischief because narrator was a soft person, so he could not stop him. The friend went ahead. He tightened the chain till it would not move. Then he made it very loose. He finally decided to fix the front wheel in place. The narrator then changed places with him and put the wheel in tight position. He laughed and admitted that he was an ass. In our next page, we have seen that he has admitted that he is a stupid fellow. The reason was that they had forgotten to put the iron balls in place. So they have tightened it, but they haven't put the balls. The narrator looked for his hat in which he had put the balls safely, but the hat lay upturned and the balls were scattered. They could find only 11. All the most of the balls were lost, and out of 16 they got 11 only. They fixed 6 on one side and 5 on the other. And half an hour later, the wheel was put in its place again. But it wobbled. Wobbled means disbalanced. It was not, the balance was not correct. Wobbled even then because the balls were missing. The narrator was impressed not so much by his friend's skill at repairing the bicycle as by his confidence in himself and his hopeful attitude. The narrator has praised his friend, although he was not liking his attitude, but he has praised because he has seen the overconfidence in him, and he was very much sure about his confidence and his attitude. He was very hopeful about whatever he was doing. The friend got encouraged. He then set to refix the gear box and put the bicycle in different places and positions for the job. He lost his balance, that we were seeing in the previous page. He lost his balance and hurt himself on the head. Then he lost his temper and tried to punish the bicycle. Now the man was not able to correct the bicycle anymore. So he has lost his temper and now he has decided that he will punish the bicycle. It was a sort of fight between man and machine. Now he has started fighting against the machine. The tough bicycle showed spirit now. The bicycle also got angry and it has also started showing spirit. It freed itself from its hold and hit him over the head with his handle. Now the man got hurt by the bicycle, by its handle. At 1:45, the man thought that the work was done. Now he has started fighting with it, and now he's fed up. So he himself was dirty, and he started bleeding also after a fight with the bicycle. He cleaned himself, and the narrator then sent him home. It was difficult to decide who had suffered more, the friend or the bicycle, because both had a fight. The bicycle was also almost broken. The man was also injured in order to do a do an unfruitful work, which had no result. Rather, both were damaged. So, dear students, this is a very funny story. You may like it more when you give the reading by your own. Today, I had given the reading. At home, you give a reading. Then you will find that you are understanding the story in a better way, and you will get more interest when you will read it. I hope you will do so. And after going through the video, you'll see the word meanings are there beside the pages. So kindly write all the word meanings which are given this in this chapter in your copy. That will be your homework for today. And give the reading of the chapter and go through the video very well to understand the story in a better way. In our next class, we will go through the question answers and exercises. Till then, goodbye. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Thank you.